What if your body was a gift and contribution to your life and not something that you've been stuck with? What if your body could change quickly and easily? Right Body for You will inspire you and show you a different way of creating the body and the life you truly desire. Now here's your host, Donnielle.
And welcome everybody to Right Body for You. As the voice before my voice said, I am your host, Donnielle. I'm so excited to be here with you each week, exploring bodies, exploring your life, exploring the universe, exploring things like why the freak are we here, why do bodies do this, and today we actually get to explore why the freak do we even have a body? But before we get to that, yes, I'm a tease, I know, and you guys love me for it. Right Body for You is based on a book. I don't talk enough about the book. It's this amazing book written by Access Consciousness founder Gary Douglas, with contributions from me, like the first chapter and things throughout the book. And it's been such a gift to my life to really use these tools, explore bodies, enjoy my body for really probably the first time since I was a kid. And, and I get to facilitate these 2.5-day Right Body for You workshops all over the world, which the next one is this weekend in London, and I just have to talk about that because my body loves London. We talk a lot about bodies, right? But no, what's interesting is as I've traveled around the world, I've become very aware of the different places and how my body feels when it's there. And I tell you what, London is one of those places that my body just feels at home. The very first time I was landing at Heathrow, it felt like I was landing at home. Just walking around, my body's just like, thank you. Which is interesting given that I know for a fact my body, this lifetime, I hadn't been to London before like 3 years ago. And whether me, the infinite being, have been there before, completely different discussion. But it was really interesting how growing up in America, I created a body that was so in vibration with London and other European places. And so all this is to say, to invite you to the Right Body for You 2.5-day workshop in London this weekend. If you and your body can't make it to London, you know what? It's going to be a live stream. So check it out. Donnielle.com, DONNIELLE.com. Thanks, Christine. She said, lucky London. We're going to have a good time. And one of the things we talk about in the Right Body for You workshop is why the freak do we have a body? Okay? Or in the proper title, why do we even have a body? I like to add in the freak sometimes. I'm a freak. We all know that. So this question has been asked often and frequently. Most of the time in anger, disgust, frustration, right? I mean, I facilitate thousands of people with their bodies, classes, private sessions, whatever it is. And the number of times I've heard people say, why do I even have a body? It hasn't been like, oh my gosh, I'm having such a great day today with my body. It's so yummy and I'm enjoying it and I'm enjoying touching it. And you know what? Why do we even have a body? This question never comes up in, it seems like, the positive aspect. It's like, don't look a gift horse in the mouth, right? So it's like, hey, if you're enjoying your body, shut up. But if you're not enjoying your body, why do we even have a body? Why do we have to be here, right? So this question has been asked in anger, disgust, frustration. And it's with disgust, I was watching, in my true freak geek fashion, I was watching Voyager, Star Trek Voyager today. And it had this episode was about this hologram that found what he called organics, which was people bodies, disgusting because of all the secretions and everything we left behind. And I had to kind of I had to laugh at that. So when we ask this question, why do we have a body? It's in anger, disgust, frustration. I would say 99.999% of the time, okay? What's interesting is religion tells us our bodies are a trial to get through. Anybody else have that childhood? I did. And what if that's not true? For me, it just never felt right. I knew there had to be another reason to have a body. And then once I discovered Right Body for You and the Access Consciousness tools, I began to see that my body isn't a trial, but a gift. And that my body is capable of so much more than what I had been told previously. So why do we have a body? Let's talk about that, shall we? And it was really interesting because when I was preparing for the show, I do what I do a lot of the times. I actually put the question into Google search. Wow, that was a difficult word today. I put it into internet search and see what pops up, because I'm always really fascinated, because one of the things with Access Consciousness tools and Right Body for You tools that I just love the most is it is so willing to see the other points of view, which are sometimes exactly 180 opposite, so 180, the other side of the circle, exactly opposite of what this world is talking about. And so when I do a search like that, I usually get a lot of information and awarenesses that I get to share with you guys. So what was interesting is, so when I put in, why do we even have a body? First sight, religion. Second sight, religion. Third sight, metaphysical. And it was still religious-based, which was an interesting thing. And so it was really like only 5 hits. Now, we're talking internet search, thousands of hits, right? The first 5 are religion, metaphysical / religion based, right? And then from there was all mostly scientific. Why do I have body hair? Why do I have that little curved thing underneath my nose? Why do I have to eat? What happens when I eat? Things like that. Not only why do I have hair, why do I have armpit hair? Why do I have to have a belly button? Which hopefully people know why a belly button is on a body. And if you don't, that's a different education class. But, that might be an interesting thing. But it was really interesting to see how it went from the religion like that to scientific so quickly. I was anticipating a lot of more, like, pages upon pages upon pages of religious speculation about why we have a body. And so for me, like I said, it was interesting that it turned so quickly to the scientific, to the fact of, like, okay, we have a body, fine, let's talk about the weirdness of it. Okay, fine, we have a body, let's talk about it being weird. Talk about the hair, talk about the smells, let's talk about the weird places that everything is. Like, in the chat room, why do I have hair on my chin? Why do I have a brain? Yes. So it was really interesting. And I found this one article. It was one on the metaphysical / religious pages. And it talked about we only find bodies attractive, like another body, because of the repulsive elements. Repulsive elements? Are you kidding me? So basically judgment. And, we in these shows we talk a lot about judgment and how we use it to discern, and how we use it to figure out what we do or don't like. So it's like even this article is telling us about we only like bodies because they repulse us, which really makes you question what their community is like. It's like if you're only attracted to things that repulse you, then you can only like things that repulse you. So how much are you going to be repulsed by so you can like that? Yeah. Anyway, don't go there. I went there too long. Anyway, and it also went on to say that there are 6 cycles of the material body, because that's what they were calling it, material body. There are 6 cycles of the material body. Ready? Birth, figure that one out. Growth, sustenance, I'm guessing eating is what they're talking about with that. Production of byproducts. You like that? So one of the cycles: birth, okay; growth, okay; eating. It has a whole one of substance. Maintain it, right? And then byproducts. We're back to those secretions by the hologram. And then dwindling and death. Dwindling. I love that they added dwindling in there. It's like, wow, thank you for such a cheery, rosy aspect to the physical, material body, as you say. Wow, I just really want to read more about this, right? Wrong. And it also went on to say, the body is a machine made of matter by which we, the soul, try unsuccessfully to find full satisfaction. It goes on to say that we could only find full satisfaction when we don't have a body. I know, right? Somebody in the chat room went WTF. And it's dwindling, as in diminishment, not dwindling. Dwindling, as in diminishment. So I'm talking to the people in the chat room too. If you've never joined in the chat room, please do. We usually have a good time. People are usually crazy and everything in between. And so another aspect is we have a body. And what was funny is they prefaced it with, now this is a crazy concept, but what if we have a body because God has a body, and then God wants us to be like him? And and that's kind of where I was raised from. Well, part of it. We were made in God's image, and God had a body, so we have a body. And then my other half of that, my favorite part of the upbringing with bodies, here on this earth, when we have the physical body, we are set through trials so that we may earn our place in heaven. And of course you're going to have trials, because that's how you test your matter, test your worth, so that then and you've earned your place in heaven. Because apparently you can't just have a place in heaven and then maintain it. No, you have to earn it, right? Born into sin and all of that kind of fun stuff. Isn't this religious topic making you guys just giggly, light, and happy? Yeah, me too. Not. So it was a trial to get through. And what's interesting is I know somebody who was raised this way. Okay, he he has this point of view that the body is a trial to get through. Trials, tribulations. The more we are tried and the more we endure, not even thrive, but endure. The more we endure it, the greater our place being prepared in heaven is. And what's interesting is with this, he has a painful body. And I don't mean just like I look at it as painful, like to look at. That's not what I'm talking about. The number of surgeries he's had, the things he and his body have created, have stumped doctors. He has a hard time walking. At one point in time, he fused some of his vertebrae, the vertebrae, at the top of the neck, where the only one that's not fused to the next vertebrae that allows your head to rotate. He had that fused in a rod, and so it had less movement, and he's had nerves and prodded things stuck in his spine. It's really been interesting. And so what's at the basis of this is so much of his point of view is your body is a trial, something to endure, to get through, to earn your place in heaven. The greater the trial, the greater your place in heaven is. So what has he created? Okay. So we're going to take a quick little break. But when we come back, we're going to explore this part a little bit more about your point of view creates your body. I've seen this time and time again. Your point of view creates your body. So what's your point of view about bodies? Okay. When we come back, we're going to explore that. This is Donnielle. This is Right Body View. We're on a2zen.fm, and we'll be right back.
What if your body could be an ease and not a burden? What would life be like if you could enjoy your body? What if changing your body was easier than we've been taught? And what if it's not about the latest fad? Join Donnielle each week on Right Body for You as she explores what bodies are and the ease of change that's possible. Each week you will receive inspirational stories of those who've used the Right Body for You energetic tools to change their body and the tools that they used, tools that you can begin to use immediately. Listen for Right Body for You every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on a2zen.fm.
What if there's nothing wrong with you? What if you're far greater than you've ever given yourself credit for? What if it's time to know the gift and the contribution you are to the world and to like yourself a lot more? Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago, I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. Asking questions opens doors to infinite possibilities. And it's not about finding the answer. It's about being the question. Always. What I'm inviting you to step into is something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Newton, Da Vinci, Gandhi, Picasso, and Aristotle all knew to be true. What if no question is too big or too small? What if anything is possible for you? What if together we could create a kinder, gentler, happier world? Is now the time? Go to beingyouclass.com and sign up for a free video series, My Gift to You. beingyouclass.com. What if you, truly being you, are the gift and change this world requires? beingyouclass.com.
This is Right Body for You with Donnielle. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8763 or UK 4433-0001-0625. You can Skype us at a2zen.fm. Or if you'd like to email a question, please send it to Donnielle at accessconsciousness.com. Now, back to the program.
And welcome back to Right Body for You. I am your host, Donnielle. And, one thing I'm told all the time is that I never tell you who I am. They're like, great information, but who are you? You know what? Good point. So let me tell you just really quickly. I am more than the voice inside your head. I am it's so hard to put words to it. I get to help you change your life. And for me, that is so much fun. I am, a life changer. I think that's what I put on my new website, Donnielle.com, Donnielle, is life changer. Or yes, Christine in the chat room who's listened to a lot of my shows and been with me a long time, she goes, she's energy's bitch. Yes, I am. I am totally energy's bitch. That is a very good summation. And I call myself that all the time. But I'm a life changer. And it starts with my own, which is pretty exciting. These tools that I get to share with you each week they are tools that I use daily, actively. I see what else is possible with them. I play with them. I ask questions. And people in the chat room are adding in things that I am. Life changer, radio show host, potent creator, sarcastic bitch. Yes. Yes, I am. I do like to laugh, and I will admit that is one of my talents and abilities, is being able to take something serious, like why the freak do we have a body, and be able to see the humor in it. And for me, when you see the humor, not the mockery, because that's completely different, but the humor of that we were judging ourselves, or just that there can be lightness in anything. And when you come at it from not being so serious, you can often see other points of view. And I can tell you how many times just changing your point of view about something can change things. I know it has for me. Thank you. Christine said I'm a fantastic facilitator too. Oh, thank you. Like in London this weekend. I can't wait. Sorry, I'm very excited. Can you tell? So So I am all these things, and it's really interesting that I do all these things. I facilitate. I help people with their bodies. I do the private sessions. I do the classes, workshops, telecalls, videos, you name it. When I used to be very shy, very shy. You know, a long time ago, I was a promotion manager for a TV station, and which is interesting for somebody that was shy. But, I got a broadcast production degree. So radio is something that is familiar to me, but not being on the radio. I was always behind the scenes. You couldn't, catch me being on the radio or on camera because that would just freak me out. And with my mom being a nutritionist and doing a health talk radio show for 27 years, surprisingly or not surprisingly, kind of depends on the day, I hated that I had a body. It was my curse. It was the weak spot. It was sad and frustration all the time. Why am I even here with a body? Of course, I was raised with the point of view of body was a trial to get through, right? So what did I create up until I started with the Access Consciousness and Right Body for You tools? A body that's a trial to get to, okay? So that's a little brief thing on me. We have to check the archives. I know Christine McIver, who does the show Inspired Choices on A to Zen and owner of A to Zen. She interviewed me one time. It's like, I think the title was "Who the Heck Is This Chick Donnielle" or something like that. And it's a great show. If you want to know more, please listen. But something I said in there is like, I was raised with the point of view that a body was a problem to get through. I was here on earth to have a physical body to be able to earn my place in heaven. So before earth, all lightness and happiness and, and floating on clouds or whatever. And no body, happiness. Earth, body, trials, tribulations. Earn your place in heaven. Death, no body. Back in heaven, you've earned your place. Yay, no body. Okay? So we look at this. It's like, no body is happiness. Body is sad. No body is happiness. Body is a problem. No body, you can do anything. Body, you're restricted. And, and a lot of the things I found from a religious aspect talk about that. And what was interesting is it never felt right to me. I said that in the synopsis of the show. It never felt right for me. I couldn't put the words to it, but it just kind of made me feel edgy, made me kind of feel sick, made me kind of feel not happy. And so I really started looking at this and going, well, maybe there's something about bodies or we wouldn't be here, right? And the very first time Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, said, there must be something great about having a body or you wouldn't be here. And I went, I have that answer. I have that answer. Access Consciousness and Right Body for You is all about questions, right? So when he's like, well, there must be something great about a body or otherwise we wouldn't be here. I'm like, I know this answer. I have the answer. It's to earn our place in heaven. It's for trials and tribulations. And what was interesting with that is, I really started looking then at the points of view I had taken. Because, Dr. Dane here, co-creator of Access, our buddy, our friend, who he says this, your point of view creates your reality. What if reality doesn't create your point of view? And this is one of those tools that I really started using and expanding upon and putting on to every aspect of my life, okay? So with this body, I really started looking at that. It's like, okay, so your point of view creates your reality. Reality doesn't create your point of view. So what's my point of view about bodies? And, you guys can do this with me. What's your point of view about bodies? And it's usually, you guys, when you ask questions like this, and this is some of the tools this is actually one of the tools I'm going to ask you to use. We're just going to do it together. And I'm asking you to ask this question not to judge yourself, but to get the awareness, okay? It's not even about the answer, because the answer is a solid point of view again. You want the awareness, which is a lightness. Awareness is something that you can change, okay? So, what is your point of view about a body? Okay? What is your point of view about having a body? And then you go, usually it's the first thing that comes up that doesn't make any sense, okay? You know, I always refer back to the somebody who says, you know, you ask somebody about who has cancer or life-threatening illness. It's like, what do you love about dying? And they're like, or sorry, what do you love about cancer? And they'd be like, to die. And it's like, well, that makes no sense. But that's that awareness popping through. It doesn't always make sense, but it's often those hidden things that we try to hide. It's the hidden things we try to hide. But it's those hidden things that we're like, I could not possibly function from that. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hide it. I'm going to put it underneath the rug. Oh, look, there's my cat blanket that she's always on. It's covered with hair. I bet if I put my point of view under there, no one will look for it because they don't want to touch the cat hair. Me either. That's a great place to hide it. Or I'm going to hide it in my left thigh. Yeah, let's hide it in my left thigh. Weird stuff like that, okay? So when you ask these questions, you want to be the first thing that comes up. And again, it usually doesn't make sense. So truth. What's your point of view about having a body? So when I first asked this to myself, what's my point of view about having a body, is what I've been saying, trial, which if you look at it, trial, your, evidence is weighed, because I was also taught, that you come at death, you stand before and you're judged. That's what I was taught. You're judged. You either get into heaven or you go somewhere else, right? So it's a trial. My body was a trial. I'm like, well, holy crap. That's not very fun. I'm like, okay, so using the Access Consciousness tools of verbal processing, like everything that is, destroy and create it, right, wrong, good, bad, BIPOC, nice, rich, boys, and beyond. And then, so truth, what is your point of view about having a body, okay? And then the next time the next answer of awareness was my way of earning my way into heaven. Okay? And so I'm like, earning my way into heaven? That's really interesting. So I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, how do I, and sometimes, you can do a follow-up question. Those were two. So how do I earn my place into heaven with my body? And it's like, if I don't succumb to the desires of the flesh, if I don't be weak with my body, drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever, if I deny myself all of these things, then I will get into heaven and not have a body. I'm like, holy crap. I think that is destroyed, uncreated. Right, wrong, good, bad, BIPOC, nice, rich, boys, and beyond. And I'm like, okay, so truth. What's my point of view about having a body? That it's weak. That it's the place where we can be tempted. It's the place where we can be led astray. It's the place where we can go to, or earn our spot in hell. Not in heaven, but in hell. And I was like, holy crap, well, everything that is destroyed and created, right, wrong, good, bad, BIPOC, nice, rich, boys, and beyond. Now, the tools of Access Consciousness is you ask a question like that, you get an awareness, brings up energy, and then you're able to use the clearing statement, which is right, wrong, good, bad, BIPOC, nice, rich, boys, and beyond, and clear it and shift it, which is at the basis of a lot of these Right Body for You and Access Consciousness tools, because we're working at shifting the energy, those hidden energies that we don't necessarily want to acknowledge, and shift it so we can actually see what's going on, okay? If you want to learn more about that, you can go to theclearingstatement.com If not, doesn't matter. It works anyways. All I have to do is be willing to go, oh, I don't like that point of view. I'm going to change it. Cool. Change it. Okay, we're going to take our next little break. When we come back, we're going to explore a little bit. If we're not functioning from these points of view about death, judgment, temptation, frailty, weakness, all those fun light things, if that's not what our body's about, what is our body about? Why do we have a body? Okay, what else is possible with it? All right, this is Donnielle. This is Right Body for You on A2Zen.fm, and I'll be right back.
What if your body could be an ease and not a burden? What would life be like if you could enjoy your body? What if changing your body was easier than we've been taught? And what if it's not about the latest fad? Join Donnielle each week on Right Body for You as she explores what bodies are and the ease of change that's possible. Each week you will receive inspirational stories of those who've used the Right Body for You energetic tools to change their body and the tools that they used, tools that you can begin to use immediately. Listen for Right Body for You every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on A2Zen.fm.
Hey everybody, this is Dr. Dane here, and I would like to invite you to an adventure in being. I've just written and finished a new book known as Being You, Changing the World. Are you one of those dreamers? One of those people who's always known that other possibilities should be available but haven't yet been able to see them be created? Well, I wrote this book for you. In it, you'll find tools, processes, and unique perspectives to change the things you've always wanted to change but didn't know how. In it, you'll find an invitation to a different possibility for a way that we can be in this world that changes not only our lives, but by being us, allows us to contribute to changing everything planet-wide that doesn't work. Are you aware that truly great people, truly being them, is the only thing that has ever created a great change on this planet? Are you willing to step up? Are you willing to be one? Check out a copy of my new book, Being You, Changing the World. I invite you to go to beingyoubook.com for a free gift.
This is Right Body for You with Donnielle. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8763 or UK 4433-0001-0625. You can Skype us at A2Zen.fm. Or if you'd like to email a question, please send it to Donnielle@accessconsciousness.com. Now, back to the program.
And welcome back to Right Body for You. I am your host, Donnielle. Welcome to the show that's a little bit different. Because for one thing, we talk about bodies, we talk about sex, we talk about life. And when we talk about bodies, we actually include the body in it. We include the body in the conversation. Which, 27 years of my mom's health talk radio show, and she was having all these amazing guests that actually created a lot of good change for people. Honestly, they're amazing. Some of them I still love and adore and talk to frequently. But none of them actually included the body's awareness in it. Okay, and this kind of what we're coming at here. So it's like, why do we have a body? Well, why not? Whether we believe in past lives, whether we believe of pre-existence, we have one life here, we have 30 million lives here. It's like, I find it interesting. It's like so many people focus on why do we have a body? Well, what about the other kind of question with that of why wouldn't we? What if it's a fun thing to have a body and we want to have fun with it? I know, crazy. But here's something I'm going to ask you to do. I've talked about it before, but in case this is your first show you're listening to, there's this amazing tool that I use and I encourage people to use. Even if you hear nothing else I say, light, heavy. Okay? Anything that is true for you makes you feel light. Anything that's heavy for you is a lie, or a lie you're trying to buy. And here's the thing. It's not that we have to know everything about it. That's not the point. Basically, we're just going with the energy of it. You know how I'm energy's bitch? This is what I'm talking about. Guess what? You're all energy's bitches too. Okay? Energy is the original language. So at the beginning of the show, when I said, you know, as I was in my Sunday school teachings, and they were telling me your body is a trial, a tribulation, you have to earn your way to heaven by surviving it, you know, and all this kind of stuff. When I said it never felt right, kind of made me feel nauseous, kind of made me feel heavy, this is what I was talking about. And this is one of the reasons that I love this tool, is it light heavy is a tool that we innately all are. Okay? We have that. We have that ability to look at that, see the different possibilities. We use it without putting words to it. I'm asking you to put words to it so you can actually look at it. So you can actually acknowledge what is true for you. Okay? I didn't have the words back then, but I had the heaviness. And if I had cognitively known the words, I would have known it wasn't true for me. So it's like, so let me ask you. When you say your body is a trial, tribulation, burden, the weak spot, does it make you feel light and happy? Or does it make you feel kind of heavy, sick, and nauseous, or just like nothing's possible, right? So then if I ask you, so what if we're here to have a body because it's just fun for us? Does it make you feel light, happy, things are possible, or does it make you want to go sit in the corner crying, right? Okay, and somebody said back to in the chat room when I asked about if it's if your body's a trial, tribulation, stuff like that. She said, heavy, but my brain is saying, yes, that's right. Exactly, because we're thinking about it. And this is why I want you to look for that first initial reaction. Because then when we start thinking about it, or our religious teachings kick in, we try to dismiss it. Okay? We've not been taught to trust our awareness. We've been taught to trust in our priests, in our religious leaders, in our parents, and experts, things like that. We haven't actually been taught to trust within ourselves. So this light heavy tool, while it seems, you know, very basic, it's actually one of the most potent things you can do, because you learn to start to trust you and yourself again. Okay, because we're born into this world trusting ourselves, and then it's beaten out of us, it's convinced out of us, or whatever it is, right? So when you start acknowledging and doing this light heavy thing, it starts to shift and change everything. Because even though she said it felt heavy, but then my brain says that's right. Yes, because then the heaviness is that first initial reaction. Even if you start thinking about it, pondering it, trying to talk yourself out of it, look at that first initial reaction, okay? Because then the same person, when I asked, what if having a body, we're here because it's fun for us, she said, light but confusing. Again, this is where we start thinking about it. We're trying to think, well, why would we just want to have fun then? Well, what if the purpose of life was to have fun? Okay? So one of the tools I'm going to ask you to do on this whole, why do we have a body? Why are we here? If this person said hello to me, what do they mean? You know, things like that. Is to start looking at the light-heavy aspect of it. And sometimes, I know some people, hey, I'm a reformed thinker. I still like to think a lot every once in a while just for shits and giggles, right? But one of the things I do to strengthen this muscle of light-heavy is I'll ask what I perceive in this reality as the opposite question, okay? It's like, oh, well, this person is out to get me. Wow, that feels oddly light. Okay. This person is my best friend and has my back. Ooh, that feels heavy. Right? So, you know, you start to play with it to kind of strengthen the muscle and see what a light and heavy is. And it was pretty funny, that person I was thinking of, and that awareness, because thank you, awareness. shows up wherever it does. And so you can start playing with that. So light, heavy. Your body is a trial, a tribulation, light, heavy, or a body is fun and joyful. Again, stop thinking about it, but just go with that first initial awareness, okay? And for me, when I started looking at this, I'm like, wow, bodies could be fun. I have no idea what that fun would be. I'm not just talking sex. I'm still exploring the fun and joy that bodies can be. But what's interesting is, for me, it's like when I started looking at this possibility and using this light heavy and getting the awareness of what is light, what is heavy, and all that kind of stuff, I began to notice a pattern. And the pattern here was that a lot of the heaviness and lightness was indicated by my body. Okay? Look at that. I could feel like a heaviness on my chest. I could feel nauseous. My body could actually feel weak. When it's a lightness, I giggle. My body feels lighter. I kind of feel lightheaded. I feel a tingling sensation. So it's like, whoa, wait a minute. So something that we innately are, this light, heavy, this awareness, quite often some of this information comes through our bodies. So what if the question isn't so much, why do we have a body? What if one of the questions is, why are we on Earth? And what if our bodies are something we created to actually help us be more aware, to help us to thrive here, not to diminish us, not to weaken us, but to actually strengthen us, to actually thrive, to be able to be that infinite perceiving, know, being, and receiving capacity. What if our bodies is actually one of the keys to that? What if we created our bodies as that tool of success instead of a tool for failure? Okay? What if our bodies help us thrive? Okay? We're going to take a quick little break. Play with that during the break. Look at that. Does it make you feel light or heavy? What if our bodies are a tool to thrive, light, heavy? Or what if our bodies are a tool to bring us down, light or heavy, right? True for you will make you feel light. What is untrue for you or a lie will make you feel heavy. And again, that first initial reaction before you start thinking about it, before those lessons kick in, before those experts, before those other voices start popping in there, what's that first initial reaction? And sometimes it can be a millisecond of an awareness, but be present with it, okay? What do I mean by be present with it? I'll explain that when I come back. We're going to take a quick little break. This is Donnielle. This is Right Body for You. We're on A to Zen.fm, and I'll be right back.
What if your body could be an ease and not a burden? What would life be like if you could enjoy your body? What if changing your body was easier than we've been taught? And what if it's not about the latest fad? Join Donnielle each week on Right Body for You as she explores what bodies are and the ease of change that's possible. Each week you will receive inspirational stories of those who've used the Right Body for You energetic tools to change their body and the tools that they used, tools that you can begin to use immediately. Listen for Right Body for You every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on A to Zen.fm.
When you're pondering the big questions like, is there more than this? How can I have a happy relationship? What would it take to like my body? And how do I make more money? Where do you go for information and tools? Check out the online store at accessconsciousness.com. AccessConsciousness.com has books, DVDs, instant video and audio downloads, online classes, and so much more. Subjects include abuse, changing your body, recovery, raising children, business techniques, tools to generate more money, how to have better sex and healthier relationships, just to name a few. At AccessConsciousness.com, you can also find facilitators who teach local classes on a variety of subjects. AccessConsciousness.com, your one-stop shop for tools to assist you in changing your life. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. Go to AccessConsciousness.com to learn more.
This is Right Body for You with Donnielle. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255 or Canada 613-800-8763 or UK 4433-0001-0625. You can Skype us at a2zen.fm. Or if you'd like to email a question, please send it to Donnielle at accessconsciousness.com. Now, back to the program.
And this is welcome back to Right Body for You. This is your host, Donnielle. Sometimes I start in the middle of a sentence. It happens. Today we're talking about why the freak do we even have a body? And, you know, we've hum-hawed about it in various shows over the years, but it's what if it's a tool to thrive in this reality? What if it's a tool to more awareness? What if it's a tool to success, not a tool to failure? So, you know, I asked you over the break to be present with that and just kind of look at it and use that light, heavy tool. And I don't know about you, but when I looked at it, it's like, okay, what if my body was a tool for success? I got light, happy, and oddly enough, more energy, and like more was possible in the world. So how does it get better than that? So it's like, okay, but why does it do that? I know a lot of people go, well, why does it do that then? Hello? Well, our bodies are made up of very similar molecules as this Earth, okay? So, our bodies can be found on the periodic table of elements, so can the Earth. And so what's interesting is we've created a body that vibrates with this Earth, this atmosphere, this environment. So if it's all talking to each other, wouldn't it make sense that it's actually giving us information about what's going on for that as well? Okay? Is my body necessarily giving me information about Mars? I don't know. Maybe this 10 seconds? I don't know. I get it, not this 10 seconds. Whether that's a future possibility, yeah, it feels light. Right now, I don't think I'm getting any information from Mars. But my body is giving me information about the Earth. I know a number of people, myself included, who have had reactions in your body before earthquakes, before tsunamis, before things like that. But here's the other thing. Okay, so your body can give you information about the Earth. Well, what about other bodies? Hey, made up of the similar elements as well, right? So what if it also gives you information about other people's bodies? Because I don't know about you, but other people's bodies scream at me. One of the particular favorites is when their feet hurt. I'm not sure why that's one of my talent and capacities, but I can have people walk by me and go, their feet hurt. And they're like, how do you know? I'm like, their body's telling me. There's like, our feet hurt. Please tell this person to not wear these shoes or something. I'm like, hey, they haven't asked me a question. Sorry. It's been really interesting to receive information from other people's bodies, animals' bodies, plants, not just that, not just the Earth. So when you start to look at this, if our bodies are giving us information from all of these different sources, why would it be a tool for failure? Wouldn't it be a tool for success? I mean, even if, okay, so let's take a scenario. Even if we're here to gain our place in heaven, yay. Okay, let's go with that. Let's say that's true for you, that you're here on earth to gain your place in heaven. Why would we necessarily have stacked the cards against us? Why wouldn't we have gone into this life and death scenario prepared with tools that would assist our success instead of ensuring our failure? It makes me feel light. I don't know about you guys, but it's like, what if our body is the tool we were given to succeed instead of the tool we were given to fail with? What about that? You know, it's like, start playing with this. POD/POC, which is the slang for verbal processing of access consciousness, POD/POC everything that you think you have bought about bodies and start looking at it. And again, it's not about throwing out everything you knew yesterday, because like I said, I just did that scenario of like, okay, so if we are on this earth to earn our place in heaven, what if the tools to help us succeed? Combine those two, and it's like, wow, that kind of feels actually light, right? So everything you've already decided and judged your body is or is not, would you be willing to destroy it and uncreate it? Cool. Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, iron shorts, boys, and beyonds. This, my dear friends, I could do an entire year show on just this topic, and I think it would be fascinating to see what comes out. And hey, tune in next week. Maybe we'll be talking about the same thing, which actually we kind of are each week. Whether it's we're talking body-specific, life-specific, we're talking about thriving. It's one of my targets for the shows, my workshops and private sessions, is to help you acknowledge and use the tools that you have to thrive in life. Not just survive, not maintain, not get by, but actually thrive. Okay? So this is one of my targets. And check out the Right Body for You workshop this weekend. It's live streamed if you can't come to London, which come to London. But if you can't come to London, check it out. It's live streamed. It's a very interactive. It's not a voyeur thing. It's interactive. You ask questions, we see you, you see us, all the kind of fun stuff. You can go to Donnielle.com, DONNIELLE.com, and check it out and register and even pay. Hey, there you go. And if you have something you want to talk to me personally about one-on-one, you have some kind of thing with your body or your life, please don't hesitate to consider doing a private session with me. Also on Donnielle.com, you can contact me and we can set up a time for that. And it's recorded, so you get all the information. Again, you can do the processing again and again and again, because trust me, it goes deeper each time. And also on my website, Donnielle.com, are a couple of free classes, videos I've done in the past, some quick 1 to 4 minute videos, out 90-minute videos, and everything in between, so check it out. It also has the store on there with a bunch of fun products that, if you would like, including the Right Body for You book club that I did fairly recently, a 14-week journey that kicked butt, surprised me. I had a good time. And please check out the book. Right Body for You is not just a workshop. It's not just a radio show. It's a book. It's a lifestyle. Sorry. But it is a book. It's an amazing set of tools and techniques to help you change and enjoy your body and thrive in this reality. What if your body isn't a death sentence? The weak spot, what if it's the tool for success? Would you be willing to try that out? You know, one of my favorite things is you are the magic, and what if your body actually includes that as well? Okay, so please check it out, Donnielle.com, DONNIELLE, and I hope to see you in London this weekend, woohoo, or online, woohoo, or next weekend in Vienna, rock on. And if not, I hope to see you back here on this radio show, and I hope you have a fun week, a happy week. Hope you enjoy your body, because guess what? It's enjoying you. And until then, have a great one. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Right Body for You. Donnielle will return next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific on A to Zen.fm. We hope you and your body will join us.